Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm Anand Chokkavelu. We've got longtime fools Lou Whiteman and Travis Hoium giving a 1 to 10 rating to the rare cloud computing and pharma play, Veeva Systems, ticker symbol VEEV. Talk about the business first, including factors like industry and competition. 10 is invincible. 1 is hopeless. Travis is at a 6. Lou's the bull here at an 8.
Yeah. So like Anand said, I mean, all of the buzzwords are here, right? It's AI and cloud for the life science industries. What's not to like? But I think there's more than buzz here. It's a cloud-based platform that helps big pharma, biotech, all these companies manage clinical trials, get through regulatory mazes, a lot like the defense industry, which I love. There's just so much arcane, just need to know knowledge to get through these processes. It helps to have someone who, this isn't just off the shelf, that knows what's going on here. They also do the more standard CRM and sales and marketing functions. It's not a consumer facing company, so it's hard for me to judge. I don't use their products, but all of the numbers as far as growth and retention indicate it's well received with its customer base. I like that. I like the specialist nature of this business. I think knowing exactly what this customer wants is important. There is, in theory, a ton of competition here, including bigger companies that develop tools in-house even, as well as all the cloud players. But I really like the trajectory of this business.
Yeah, I may be a little bit harsh with my 6 rating here. And I get the argument that Lou is making, being a niche player in a business that looks like it's dominated by a bunch of hyperscalers is probably a pretty attractive spot to be. But I think that's really the concern, is they are not growing as quickly as a lot of the hyperscalers are. And so, this is it's a solid business, but I think valuation is going to be important. We'll get to that. And they could be overrun in certain ways by some of their bigger players, especially in things like artificial intelligence. If that becomes a really key tool for, life sciences and developing pharmaceuticals and all the kind of things that we're talking about, is this going to be the company to deploy that? Or are those customers going to then look for a company that specializes in building AI models? I think that's really kind of the risk. So that's why I'm a little bit less bullish than Lou.
For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett, 1 is Homer Simpson. Both of you have 8s, Lou.
Yeah, so we have a founder CEO in Peter Gassner, founded a company in 2007. He still owns 9%. We like to see that. He came from the tech side of the business, which I think is really important. He had time at IBM, time at PeopleSoft, time at Salesforce. He left Salesforce because, according to him, he saw the unique demands of pharma and said it needs a unique solution. I love a story where someone just sees an opportunity, capitalizes on it, and I think it's gone pretty well so far. So I think, again, a lot to like here.
Yeah, just looking at the numbers, 23% compound annual growth rate over the past decade. It's hard to argue with a founder who is operating the company that effectively. So I like everything you see. And like Lou said, a big ownership stake goes a long way with a company like this.
For financials, a 10 is a fortress, a 1 is yikes. If you like the scores for management, you're going to love the scores for financials. Both of you have 9s, Lou.
Yeah, a lot to like here. We just came off a quarter, 17% revenue growth, 15% operating cash flow growth, 31% earnings per share growth on an adjusted basis. Company said it is well on its way to doubling sales by 2030. So yeah, we really like that. They raised the full year guidance. We have a pristine balance sheet here, $6 billion in cash, less than $100 million in debt. The hope here, obviously, is that Veeva is becoming, for clinical trials, what Microsoft Office is for desk jockeys like me. We'll see about that. That's a big ask, but there isn't much about these financials, what they're doing right now, to give me pause.
Yeah, Lou hit the nail on the head. If you just look at their income statement and balance sheet and forget valuation for a moment, there's a ton to like about the company. Growing double digits, very high margin, a lot of profitability, where it's not one of these companies where we're going, they're going to be profitable soon. No, very profitable today. And that's $6 billion in cash. You could do a lot of things with that.
Travis, let's move on to valuation. How well will Veeva Systems stock do over the next 5 years? And how safe is it? 10's a sure thing. 1's a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I said 5 to 10% returns and a safety of 7. The reason is just simply their valuation. 14 times sales is a very expensive company. Look, they've grown tremendously over the last 5 years, and the stock has gone almost nowhere until the last couple of weeks after their recent earnings report. So 2 things can be true. This can be a phenomenal company, but can be phenomenally run. They can continue to growing at double digits. And yet they're not, I think, necessarily growing fast enough to live up to the very high valuation that we still have on the stock.
Yeah, so the funny thing about this one is the market got way ahead of itself with this company. I don't think we fully recovered the 2021 high, but look, this time it feels real. Viva's here to stay. It's a near double since late 2022. I think there's momentum from here. So I'm at 15% plus. Now, Travis is right on valuation, and I'm only at a 5 for safety. I think like 60 times earnings today. I think if they're talking about doubling revenue. I think they should be fine if they can grow into that valuation. I think they can get there. But we've seen with these companies with these valuations, if there's even the slightest of hiccup, there's some real downside risk. So I think that definitely plays into my safety score.
Time for everyone's favorite top it. Travis, is there a company in Veeva Systems space that you like better?
Yeah, and the new rules with no Mag 7 stocks really kind of takes my other cloud plays out of the picture here. But in the pharma space in generally, I mean, and this isn't it is in a space that I cover on a day-to-day basis, but I think Hims and Hers is the one that just phenomenal growth rate in excess of 90% in the most recent quarter. They just made another acquisition, expanding margins. I think there's a ton to love about that company, and that gets you a little bit of that AI exposure as well. If you're looking for AI exposure with a company like Veeva, take a look at Hims.
So I don't have any either, but I would just say, even if you included the Mag 7 stocks, I'm not here to short any of them. I think there's great stories, but I like this niche cloud play and actually using these things with applications versus just offering it and seeing kind of developing it how it goes, which is still, especially on the AI side, a lot where we are. I actually think that even with the Mag 7, I could put Veeva Systems up and at least make a case.
As a reminder to viewers, we stopped doing Mag 7 stocks as one of the topic categories. We were tired of just seeing Amazon and Microsoft all over the place. Either say no or get creative, folks. Thanks to Lou and to Travis. They've given Veeva Systems a strong overall score of 7.5 out of 10. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is iRobot. Till then, Fool on. Got it.
Velveeta, yes. The cheesiest company we know.
Hey-oh.
A couple of dads making jokes.
That's right.